morning, everyone. Welcome to my vlog series, Empowered Exploration. I'm coming to you live from London. If you would like more of a description of what this vlog is about, please check out the description below, or feel free to comment any questions that you have. Each video that I'm going to be doing will be about me studying abroad as a legally blind individual, the stories that I come across and the adventures that I have, and the tips that I learn along the way that I would love to share with members of the blind community. And I'm really excited to do this series about this. I feel like it's something important for me to do, and I'm really looking forward to sharing what I discover. Each video will kind of be divided into 3 parts. Like today's, I'll introduce myself and, this video and what today's video is going to be about, which today is about getting lost. I'll then share a story about, for example, getting lost. And then I'll share some tips that I learned because of the experience that I share. So to jump into it, today's story is about how I got lost in London yesterday all by myself, and how I survived and discovered a wonderful gem of a place and basically had the stereotypical tourist moment that begins with, I got lost and I was wandering around and I found this place in like the middle of nowhere. And most of you have heard those stories before, the stereotypical tourist moment where they're like, we were just wandering around and we found this incredible place or this waterfall or this little cave or this rock. Like, every tourist has that story. And I'm here to tell you that with some tips and with a little bit extra more effort, blind people can have that story too, and it won't be a stressful, scary experience. So I went wandering around by myself. I told my flatmates that I was going for a cup of coffee, and I did go get a cup of coffee at a coffee shop. But after that, I didn't really feel like going back, so I decided to go wandering around a train station, and then from there I went to the river, and at some point between the train station and the river, like I got to the river. Our apartment is really close to the south bank of the Thames, so the river is a nice landmark place to find and really find your way back. But at some point, walking along the river, I realized that I didn't really know where I was. And it kind of happened really suddenly, and I was like, I don't know where I am. And that freaked me out. I'm not going to lie. I started shaking, and I kind of got freaked out. And here's the other thing. I'm not walking around with data on my phone. So I can't look up on Google Maps, where am I? How do I get from here to there? And all of the things, because I have no data on my phone. So what I did, and this is how I found my gem, my beautiful discovery place, is I turned up a street and started looking instead for, ways to get back home. I looked instead for Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi is a pretty easy thing to find when you're in a city. I passed by a sign that said Tokyo Bakery, and I was like, okay, I think that's Wi-Fi. That's interesting. And I went inside, and I was greeted by this beautiful hardwood floor, staircase, plants everywhere. Like, it was just this beautiful space. And I went up to the counter because I don't feel comfortable sitting in places without ordering something, and I got, ironically enough, my first cup of British tea during tea time in London. That was incredible. I was totally unintentional. And the man noticed that I was blind by me using my monocular, which is my aid that I use to read the menu. And he just took every extra effort to make sure that I was comfortable. He brought me out my food, he helped me with my tea, and he just took every extra effort to make the experience even more special than it already was. And I sat there. I let people know where I was. I let people know that I was lost, and we started working things out. I found Wi-Fi. It was not the bakery Wi-Fi. I leached off of the hotel Wi-Fi from across the street, which was totally fine. And I figured out where I was, sort of. And I felt it was a nice recharge moment because I wasn't really shaking anymore. But it was a gem. I found a gem. And I cannot wait to go back to that gem because it was my best experience yet in London. And I've been to really impressive restaurants, but having tea in such a beautiful place, overlooking like just such a beautiful city, that was a cool moment. And I was by myself, which made me feel independent and yet at the same time safe, which is the whole point of me going on this trip, learning how to strike that balance between independence and safety. So I drank my tea in peace. I left and I just continued walking back the way that I came. That was my alarm, sorry. And I realized that I wasn't as lost as I thought, and I ended up finding my way back very quickly. But that's my story. It was a little rushed, and I apologize. But that was my story of how I got lost and I found a gem. And it's a very stereotypical story, and I'm very happy that I got to have it. And here are some tips to help you guys have it if you ever go studying abroad or traveling and you're blind. Tip number 1 is always let people know that you're blind, especially if you are like me and people can't tell right off the bat. Always. Always let people know, because it'll make your experience all the less stressful on you, and it helps. It really does help. And I'm preaching to the choir about this because we all know, it makes a difference. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to always have many ways to get back. The reason why I was not more nervous than I already was is because I knew that I had money for a cab ride. If all else failed, if I got super lost, I had money for a cab ride. I knew how to find the nearest tube station. I had a tube pass. I could have taken the bus. Just always have a backup plan if you're walking. Have an emergency, $20 bill, 20-pound bill, 20-pound bill in your pocket just in case you need to take a cab ride, even if it's only going to be a 30-second cab ride. Better safe than sorry. And tip number 3 is to not be afraid of going out there and getting lost. And this is the hardest one for me because I've been here for 10 days and this is the first time I've really gone walking around. And it's because I was scared of doing it. So my advice to you is push past that fear and just go. Take one step and then another step and then another step, remembering where you are and where the steps that you've taken before, but not being afraid to find something new. Just be brave. And I just say just be brave. It's impossible for me to even imagine myself doing this like 3 years ago, or even 2 years ago, or even a year ago. But when you're in a new place, you are filled with this urge to discover things, and it just makes it so much easier to be courageous. Feed into that. Go get lost. And as long as you let people know that you're blind, and as long as you have a way of getting back that does not rely on you walking, you're going to be fine. I promise. You will be fine. But just find a gem. Go have your stereotypical tourist moment. It really is a very empowering moment because you're going to be independent and you're going to be safe and you're going to feel so normal all at the same time. So that's today's story. Those are today's tips. This will be my vlog series. Every day will be different. I'm very excited to share what I discover, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys again. Bye.